Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on this paranormal pit stop. Tonight, we'll be exploring a prominent historic expanse located off of South 8th Street in Springfield, Illinois, that preserves the former abode of Abraham Lincoln prior to his time spent as 16th President of the United States. Rumored to harbor more than a handful of ghosts tied to its lengthy past, are you prepared to brave the history and hauntings of the Lincoln Home National Historic Site? Historically, construction of this aged residence would conclude in 1839 under Reverend Charles Dresser. In 1842, Abraham Lincoln would marry Mary Todd, and in 1844, Dresser's property was purchased by the Eager couple. In 1846, the Lincolns would issue a slew of renovations alongside an expansion of the premises, one of several to transpire under their ownership. And over the years, 3 of their children would be born on site. However, sadly, one named Eddie would also perish here just before his 4th birthday. In 1860, Abraham would win the presidential election, following which in 1861 he and his family would move to DC, and after which railroad executive Lucian Tilton and his wife would become the first tenants at the Lincoln's home. Following the 1865 assassination of President Lincoln, Robert Todd Lincoln would take over ownership of the family abode, though it would remain rented out, and over the years a number of tenants would pass through its doors, until 1887 when Robert donated the property to the state of Illinois under the stipulation it be preserved into the future and open to the public at no charge. As the decades passed by, the old Lincoln Home's grounds would be kept open to the public, as would its first floor. In 1951, archaeological excavations of the backyard would transpire, and in 1955, following a slew of restorations, the old structure's second floor would finally be open to visitors. In 1971, the home and its grounds were officially designated within a historic district, and in 1988, following a brief closure for further restorations, the expanse was reopened to the public. The Lincoln Home National Historic Site remains open into the present, offering the Lincoln Home as its centerpiece alongside a grouping of additional fully restored structures that span a 4-block, roughly 12-acre stretch, complete with a visitor's center. For generations, ghost stories surrounding the old Lincoln Home and its encompassing locale have persisted, with those frequenting its bounds reporting a host of inexplicable activity, including objects observed moving on their own, furniture found rearranged overnight, and strange gusts of wind or cold spots felt within sealed or temperature-controlled rooms. Several ghostly children have been spotted running or playing around the house, always just leaving sight range, and many suspect these spirits belong to Eddie and to William, who would die at 12 at the White House, and whose soul is believed to have returned to the place he truly thought of as home. Incidentally, within the Lincoln Home, reports of children's toys moving on their own are all but common, and more chilling accounts detail the sensations of tiny hands felt tugging at witnesses' clothing. Also reported across the site, and confined to no area in particular, are disembodied voices and footsteps heard from empty spaces, phantom wafts of pipe smoke that emanate from thin air, and the constant feelings of being watched, of being followed, or even of being brushed up against by someone or something unseen. For years, reports of run-ins with the apparition of a mysterious woman that lurks about the Lincoln Home have and continue to surface to date. While some believe this presence to be the wandering soul of Mary Todd Lincoln seeking happier times, others aren't so certain and have theorized it may actually be the specter of Mrs. Tilton, who lived in the home at the time of Lincoln's assassination, and who it's said was driven crazy by the waves of tourists that flooded her in attempts to get a glimpse of the late president's former residence. Lastly, following his assassination, the president's body was laid within the old abode on display during his funeral tour through the country. It's believed that some part of his spirit remains in the place he so cherished in life, and every so often, both staff and visitors report being startled as his favorite chair begins rocking all by itself. Thanks for tuning in for this paranormal pit stop. If you enjoyed our histories and ghost stories, subscribe to our channel, like this upload, and share us with everyone you know so our upcoming on-site series Sleepovers gets the welcome it deserves. Until next time.